we partnered with Blue Horse Studios and Be Quiet to do a Christmas build, I wasn't prepared for just what was to come from the crazy brain of Ron Christensen. First, we were going to do a Nightmare Before Christmas build, maybe next year, but as time got close to Christmas, we needed to make a pivot, and thus the Grinch was born. Sometimes you just build a PC that comes out so epic you were not prepared, and this is one of those builds. But enough talking, you just gotta see it for yourself. But before we jump into the build, if you wanna see more custom builds like this and epic designs from myself and Blue Horse Studios, make sure you like and subscribe. Now, let's make your heart grow 3 sizes bigger. This case is pretty dang spectacular. So we got green, and then of course we have the green in the front we'll be doing, and then we also have the Grinch basically hanging out in the back as well. So should be a super epic build. Here are the parts going inside of this. We've got the AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D, the Asus TUF Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi, the Asus TUF Radeon RX 7800 XT. We've got the Samsung 980 Pro 2TB NVMe storage. We got the G.Skill Z5 Neo RGB 32 gigs at DDR5, 6000 mega transfer. The Be Quiet Shadowbase 800DX custom painted by Braun at Blue Horse Studios. The Be Quiet Dark Rock Elite cooler, and then the Be Quiet Pure Power 12M 850 watt gold PSU. Okay. Okay, there we go. We're gonna go ahead and do our RAM clicks. Okay, here we go, guys. Okay, 3, 2, 1. 94, and that didn't sound bad at all. I mean, it sounded terrible. Sorry, that didn't sound good at all. Well, that was a little better. Okay, next up. Okay, here we go. Time to get the NVMe in. Okay. Okay, let's grab our cooler, which I love this cooler and does a very good job of keeping this at a good temp. This is like snapped on. Okay, there we go. All right, we need to put thermal paste on here, so we'll use the Be Quiet. That is a lot of thermal paste. Not as viscous, it's definitely not. I have to take some work to spread. It's a more pungent smell. Be Quiet, the more pungent thermal paste. I love the locking mechanism for this AIO. I mean, for this cooler. We got a little bit of pop up there. We're gonna take this, we're gonna put it on performance mode. There's actually a switch here, quiet and performance. And there we go. Now our cooler is in. Okay, here we go, guys. Now it's time to take the case apart, our Grinch build. And again, the best thing that I always work with Ron is that we do our mods for our cases that we give away. Nothing that we do is going to affect the performance of the build itself. Okay, next one that we're gonna do here is on the side here. Comes off like that, and then beautiful. And the entire inside of the case is also painted green. There we go. And pull this as well. Kicking it off, we got a rear and the front fans. Okay, we're gonna try and see, I don't remember how high this has to go. I feel like, no, we had this on the other side. Never mind. That's not right. There we go. I was right. It's just basically get them all the way up until the top. Okay, so everything's kind of in now. I've got everything prepped. There we go. Next up here. All right, there we go. So there's all of our fans, guys. Believe it or not, once I kind of do the front panel connections and stuff like that, this build's actually almost done. Let's run all of our front panel connections real quick. First, what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab our USB-C here. If you go to the side here, you'll see me pull it through. That's gonna come up right there. And that's all of our cables now. So there we go, now all of our cables are in. Okay, guys, all we got now is it's time to do, wow, are we on GPU now? Let's do cable extensions first, then we'll do our GPU. So pretty clean even from the front. Okay, so now let's grab our cable extensions. There we go. There we go. So we plugged in our CPU EPS connector right there. We've plugged this into, as you can see, we've got a very, very straight line between the two. That's what we want. Okay, so we got all that in now. Last part, guys, and then we'll do the PSU, is we just got to do the GPU. Here's that beautiful Radeon GPU. And it looks very good inside this build. And the end here will be green. I'm sorry, yeah, green. So we'll have all the RGB, I think we'll do green. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay guys, there is the build. All we gotta do now is PSU, and then we're done. Okay, there's all of our cables. Oops. Okay, there's our 12M. Okay guys, build is done. All right, here we go. Let's put the rest of this stuff together. Again, our very fabulous back of the case right there. The Grinch going on now. There it is, guys, the last bit. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. Turning on the PC now. There it is. Am I right? Am I right? Come on. This build was so good. And when we added the additional lighting from the Silent Wing fans and with the candy cane lighting around the entire thing, I mean, it just came together so beautifully. Speaking to airflow, let's kick things off with just how well thermally this build performed. And if you want to see what this build looks like without all of the awesome magic from Ron and the team, you can check out our $1,800 Be Quiet build right here. Now, let's jump over to our handy dandy smoke and visualizations. For intake, we intake via the 340mm Lightwing fans from Be Quiet, pushing them into the CPU air cooler, the Be Quiet Dark Rock Elite, and out through the single Lightwing 140mm fan in the rear. In this case, we have a more positive pressure situation, which I don't really honestly care about. There's a plus that I'll talk about here in a minute. But if you want to get a more balanced situation, what you could do is add an additional 140mm fan right here in the back, right behind the air cooler, which should improve the whole situation slightly. Now, one plus, which I talked about and alluded to, is that you are going to get less dust buildup inside of a case like this, especially when you have an airflow configuration. Now, before jumping into thermals, let's review what we have inside of this build by taking a look at the parts list right here. We have an epic and inexpensive 1440 build powered by the AMD Ryzen 7800X 3D and the beautifully priced Asus TUF RX 7800 XT. And all inside of this absolutely epic custom Be Quiet Shadow Base 800DX case from Blue Horse Studios. It has all of the accoutrements you would need for a balanced 1440p breakfast, things like 32 gigs of G.Skill Trident Z Neo RAM at 6,000 megatransfers, 2 terabytes of NVMe storage from Samsung 980, and finally 850 watts of power via the Be Quiet 12M PSU. Now on to thermals. What we did see is that this Dark Rock Elite had zero issues keeping up with the Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. It was like a winter's night on the Grinch's sleigh, no problem whatsoever. CPU load temps were averaging out at 82 degrees Celsius, which is a little warm for snow, I gotta agree. And the 7800 XT was averaging out at 52 degrees Celsius. For gaming temps, it was even better with an average of 61 degrees. As expected, the GPU similar to the GPU load temps at 53 degrees Celsius. Okay, so thermally and airflow wise, it's like Christmas so far. Did the Grinch steal the gameplay performance from this build? The answer is no. This must have been after his whole thing where he transitioned. His heart's bigger and he gave you performance with this build. Kicking it off with Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p with ray tracing at ultra and FSR 2.1 sent to auto. We saw Cyberpunk 2077 sitting just shy of 60 FPS. Given that this is obviously a very ray traced heavy title, very NVIDIA focused, that's great for an AMD title, and if you wanted to set things down to ray tracing on medium, you should get above 60 FPS for your entire gameplay experience without a significant visual drop. For Starfield, running at the highest graphical setting at 1440p and FSR set to auto because, hey, this is an AMD build, we got 100 FPS on average, while both in space and running around on planets and stations. Next up, we have Forza Horizon 5, again at 1440p with graphics set to extreme, FSR 2.2 set to auto. We saw 142 frames per second. For Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, again at 1440p extreme graphics. So again, if you want to play that 5 to 10 minute campaign, FSR 2.1 set to balance, we're sitting at 190 FPS for the single player campaign. For Shadow of the Tomb Raider, 1440p with the highest graphical preset and XeSS set to balance, you're looking at 178 frames per second. Roby, what do you mean XeSS? Isn't that an Intel thing? Well, there is no FSR, and guess what? Intel's agnostic just like AMD, so yay, Intel helping AMD. Finally, rounding out single player games, we have Tiny Tina's Wonderland with graphics set to badass and FSR 2.0 set to balance. We saw 164 frames per second. I mean, even the Grinch digs that. For MP titles, let's kick it off with Apex Legends. With graphics maximized for competitive gameplay, we saw 293 frames per second at 1440p. And finally, Fortnite, again, graphics set for competitive to maximize frame rate. We had an almost unplayable 367 FPS. Anyway, Merry Christmas to the person who won this epic build on the Robeytech live stream just before Christmas. Oh, and by the way, if you want a chance to win one of these builds live, make sure you're liking and subscribing so you don't miss when we do giveaways like this on Twitch and YouTube, which usually happens once or twice a month. So the Grinch didn't steal Christmas here, but he does look epic on the case. And Santa gave him everything you want. Good build experience, check. Good thermal performance, check. Great visually looking build, thanks to Bluehorse, absolutely check. And great gameplay performance, double check. But what do you think? And what do you think of this custom build, and how did you like the design? And are you now a fan of the Grinch, at least this Grinch build? Let us know all that down in the comments below. Now, while you're down there, make sure you slap that subscribe button with that like button and ring that notification bell so you get a notification when we post videos like this right here on Robeytech. Also, if you have questions or you want to discuss this build or maybe talk about your own custom designs, head on over to discord.gg/Robeytech. You know what? They love to talk about pretty much everything PC related, and you might make a friend. And if the Grinch had a friend, we probably wouldn't be here right now. Anyway, guys, feel free to follow me at Robeytech absolutely everywhere. That's it for me. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.